And how did you start? How did this eating disorder start for you? If you look back at it and see where where the source is.
So it all really stemmed from that trauma that was created from me for a child. And this continued on, as I explained, right up to I was about 10, 11-ish. And then that's whenever I was at the age of body appearance. And I was already in this controlled eating, where I was in control. I ate what I wanted. So then I was using food for that as well. And it just triggered on to the point where I actually started modeling because I had the look, I had the physique, and people like to them I was like the beautiful girl, like look at her, she's a perfect body, she's got that, but no one really understood why I had that body. No one understood, and people thought I was happy. And even sitting here now, I would love to go back and slap that girl because she made people believe that she was so happy. And yet this was my, and I made people believe that I could eat what I wanted and I could eat what I wanted because I limited my food. I was in control of my food. And because I had that eating disorder at the start, which started off as every eating disorder starts off as effort. And the reason it starts off as that is it's avoidance restrictive food intake disorder. Well, if you avoid something, you're in control. If you restrict it, you're in control. The food is the problem and the intake and the disorder. Um, so that's sort of where the disorder is savable, and but it's also where it's most critical because if you don't get on top of that whenever they're in control and actually avoiding it, then they'll actually fall into
Can
it.
I just stop? Can I just
I
stop?
can hear that too.
Yeah, can you hear
What
that,
is it?
Bruds? There's
Do you
a,
hear
it's a
something?
TV or some.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's gone.
I wasn't even using my microphone as the mic. I was using a bloody one of my camera things or whatever it is. Sorry, let's jump straight back into that. Let me ask you a question as well. Sorry. So you obviously
Yeah,
suffered like trauma as a child, and obviously you mentioned that they were using sweets to sort of coerce you into stuff. Did you ever get justice for that sort of abuse that you went through?
actually, no. And I'm really glad you asked me that question because it's not something that I have spoke out about publicly yet, but I'm ready. So I'm glad that you've actually asked me because it almost gives me that choice and opportunity to do so. So I actually had told my parents about it when I was younger and they stopped me going, but then they brought me back. I don't understand that. Why would you bring a child back if you know that happened? So as of late, I've been studying mental health. I've been studying, I've actually been studying all aspects of things that I don't even have, just so I can understand people better. And that's made me look at myself more. So I've been looking and talking to a psychotherapist, and she's been amazing. And the journey we've been on has been hard, difficult, but it's made me realize that I never did get anything. Like I was never took and checked was I
Yeah.
okay. They never brought me anywhere, where I could maybe
How
apply
old were you when it started? Sorry, you were
for
4.
When,
Jesus.
when,
four
yeah,
years for.
when they sent you back, did it continue?
Yes.
Till what age?
Oh, you poor.
Till about 10. And my parents believe it only happened once. And I have said to them plenty of time, my parents are brilliant parents. Please don't get that
Yeah,
wrong.
no.
We're back in that day and things were different, And as I was explaining, I'm actually deaf. So I lip read. So I also think that maybe they think I maybe used the wrong words or was maybe saying something maybe not right. Because I still don't use the right words sometimes, and it's just because no one's ever corrected me, because of my hearing. So their reason was that they brought me back because I cried to go back. Now, to me, I am a mother and I'm a grandmother. And I know fine rightly the minute my daughter even told me, and I wouldn't question it, it would be stopped. And used to be talking to me behind bars
I
like
think
that.
I think
You
that's
know,
most people's opinion and most
Yeah.
people's like that's what most
yeah.
people think. If you troubled my door like that, I'd probably kill you. Like I'd probably do some real damage to you. Like was this your? Did you say it was a family member that did this to you as well?
It's my dad's dad, my grandfather.
Wow.
I don't like to call him that because he's not my
Well,
grandfather.
No.
You
see, this
know,
is the thing. When we say these hypothetical things, we'd kill them and blah blah blah. Like a lot of people say it's the shock because it's not some crazy man around the corner in a trench coat. It's
yeah.
normally within the household. It's a family member that's abused the trust of people that he was meant to be looking after.
This is a man of the church, and he did it to girls in the church as well. And apparently, my family had known this.
It
That's what I can't get over. So this is why I'm in psychotherapy. And I do not blame my parents. No one can blame them because they did not do this to me. He did. And the time back then was different. I don't point fingers and blame them. However, I do blame them now for not at least, they don't want to hear how it made me feel.
So
They don't.
they've never taken accountability.
No, they've never taken accountability. And their response to me was that it was dealt with back then. And my response was, but we went back and you said it was dealt with, but how? Like I was the one that went through it all. And this is a thing that it happens in everyday life with a lot of people, and we need to be more mindful of it, is when someone brings a problem to us and we can resolve it, we go and resolve it, and then we think that's it. But we always forget about how did it actually make that person feel that it happened to? And do they need to get something? We resolve because we're angry, and then that makes us feel better. But it doesn't make the person that went through all of that feel better. So to them means they don't get no validation. And that's what my dad says, that he had a fight with my granddad, whatever, he must have hit him, whatever, and that's how it was dealt with. So the damage it was done with, and I'm like, but how? And the only reason it happened to me so much was because I have three other siblings, two older, one younger, one male, the other two females. And me and the older one had suffered this. And when the younger one came along, we decided that we weren't going to let it happen to the younger one. So I hold a lot of anger knowing that I, as a child, protected a family member and I couldn't get that from my own family. But then I also have to remember the times were different. But I do hold them accountable and angry because I'm on this journey at the minute and I'm trying to get them to hear how, like, I don't hold mirrors in my home. I don't want to look at myself because I feel ugly. I feel dirty. I feel like used goose. I feel damaged. Um, when I feel I've did someone wrong, to eat would be a punish. Like, why would I reward myself with food? And it's took me to heal myself and for me to educate myself and for me to get the help that I need now since I've been in my 30s to actually learn how to cope and live with this eating disorder. Um, and that's sort of why I'm so strong on my platform. And I do speak so highly and strongly about it all because it's a long journey I've been on. And I actually was at family intervention with my mum just recently, and I had to walk out because she basically said it only happened a couple of times. To me, straight away, what you're saying, that's okay. See, if it only happened to me one time or 10 times, it
yeah.
happened. And I still carry that guilt. I still carry that blame. I still carry all them feelings. And when I spoke about it, I got a message from my father basically telling me that, sorry, that I'm not a woman. No woman would go onto any platform and talk about what they have been through, that I must have liked it.
Wow.
That so I
Can,
do not talk to my father as of now.
can I just say something to you?
Yeah.
I want to validate you. I want you to know that I'm assuming BruddC feels the same way that I do, that your parents have let you down. I know you don't blame them, but they have let you down immensely by sending you back, by not listening to you. And unfortunately for me, this is my opinion, saying it was a different time is not an excuse. You are a young lady that is hurting, and they are your parents, and they're supposed to protect you. And you are well within your right to ask them to be accountable for what they did. So don't ever let them tell you that you are anything less than an extremely strong, amazing woman that is surviving.
Thank you. That means a
Let
lot.
me just add
Actually, I
let me just
appreciate
add to
that.
that quickly as well. I would say exactly the same thing as Kitty's saying, but you know, I know that in certain communities they like to keep things in house and stuff. They don't like to talk about it and promote it and stuff. But you know, you need, like, you know, when I spoken to so many victims of the same sort of thing from family members as well. And you know, the one thing the victim, I don't like to say victim, but it's any way to describe it. But you know, the person, what they should receive is, like, you know, what you deep down inside, what you want most likely is just your parents to say, I'm sorry, we understand what you went through, I'm sorry, and you know, I wish we could have dealt with it better. And this is what most people that have been wronged, it's really sad that the victims of these things have to actually, even, like, most people, it's common sense, you know, you would, how are you okay, I'm sorry you went through this, I'm sorry I didn't handle this. But for your dad to come out and say you must have enjoyed it, I mean, that you must be heartbroken by that, like, you know. And you know, I can see that you're very upset by it, and you know, but you know, it's, you know, you're not in the wrong. Like, let's just say you're not in the wrong.
Yeah.
Your concerns are totally validated. You should. Well, it's a shame, and me listening to you, you're on social media, you know, speaking about these things and like getting other people's opinions about it, and you're obvious, I think in some sort of way you're trying to say, wait a minute, am I wrong, am I right, like, you know, was this my fault, was this, like, you should, am I taking this, am I blowing this out of proportion, like, you know. But you shouldn't have to be doing that, you know. Your family should have given you that straight away, even if they beat that person up or whatever. You make sure that this person is never looking after children again, or even in the proximity of children, like, you know, to send you back to whatever it is, this person's church or whatever, like, you know, what. And so all I'm hearing about is these people that haven't been punished properly, that in some cases still at it, like still working with children, still doing these things, like, you know, this is what's really, really sad, you know. So you know, just unfortunately we can't pick our parents, we have to love what we get. And you know, you can only pray someday that they'll come to reason. But I think you don't need it, because you're right. It's not it. You're right. It should have been handled better. You're a parent. Anyone that's a parent would understand that they should have been protecting their daughter on the first day your daughter, that you find out the first day. You know, that should have been sorted out.
I just want to say something else. It's something that I've learned through years of trauma myself, and I want you to take this away with you and think about it. It's okay to love your parents, but not like them.
Thank you.
Mia, leave
You
it
know,
there.
that actually means a lot, because today I'm glad I actually got chatting with you today, because today was a big day for me in my psychotherapy. I actually had it just at 3 to 4 p.m. there today, and that's sort of where I'm at. And I'm still very numb to what I need, and I know I have to do going forward. But I have now realized that I was always not allowed to talk about this, and I was always shunned, and it was a forbidden thing. And because I spoke about it, I feel like I've been treated differently, and I've only ever wanted to be seen and heard. And as of from today, sitting with them, and that I would never change my parents, even though that happened. I would never change them. I just wish they had seen me. And I know a lot of people don't understand what that means, but a lot do. And I just wish I had been seen and understood, instead of them being so selfish and just worrying about how we looked as a family. Because an image is simply that, it's an image. You can make it look any way you want, even if it's broken. You can edit it
Yeah,
and fix
but
it.
it's
It
not
doesn't mean
you're
that's
not
what the
broken.
image looks like.
I hate that I hate
Uh,
that sort of terminology. You're broken. Like, what person would really hold someone that's been a victim of abuse at a young age responsible for that? What person is going to judge you for that? Like, no rational person is going to judge you for that. Like, it does this is insanity. Like, I understand in some communities and some cultures, like, I've been doing quite a bit on this recently. They like to keep it under closed doors and stuff because they don't want it out. They do feel like it's going to besmirch the name or whatever. But in actual fact, you had a 4-year-old from the age of 4 to 10. You've had your childhood robbed from you, and this would have most definitely affected God knows how many things in your life. Like, most people that experience abuse like this and don't get justice for it, like, it's you should pat yourself on the back that you're not addicted to drugs or doing all types of crazy other stuff, like, and this is how some people have to try and deal with some of these things because of what happened, because of it's such a crazy thing to have to deal with, like, you can't even imagine.
Change.
Yeah.
My advice would be to change the words broken to surviving. You're not broken, you're surviving, you're thriving, you're rising. Use those words instead of negative words, because negative words will live inside your head. If
Yeah.
you start using positive words, I'm not one of these arty farty sort of, but in cases like this, I would always say, I've never been shy about the fact that I went through a lot of trauma, and I never say that I'm a victim. I always say I'm a survivor. I've survived. I'm thriving. I'm winning. I'm coming back. These are positive frames of mind, and that would be my advice to you, or to just maybe reframe those words in your head, because you weren't broken. That person that did that to you, they were broken. They are evil. They are the problem,
And
not you.
how many lives has
You,
he ruined as well? Like, how many childhoods has he stolen? Like, these people are, and it just seems like it just seems like I don't know, these people they just keep coming, and, they're here and they just keep coming and coming and coming. And, but there needs to be justice. Bottom line is we need real justice for people that are able to commit these kind of crimes against a 4-year-old child. Like, we need real justice, like, and some people might not like that, but someone that's able to do that to a 4-year-old, to a 10-year-old, then Kitty's got the answer of her bricks. Like, Kitty, she talks about that a lot. Like, and
yeah, 2 bricks,
so
Kitty.
how do you sort of like battle with it now then? Because obviously you're feeling like the black sheep of the family now. I'm imagining, like, you still love your family, as you said, and you wanted to really stress that, but it must be difficult. It must be really difficult for you.
Honestly, it is. The last 3 or 4 years, I've been doing a lot better. But I feel like when I look back on my life, I can see where I was kind of like just dabbling myself here and there and jumping into things. And it was more out of trying to get acceptance, I guess, from the wrong things and the wrong people. And realistically, I was only ever really wanting that from my family. So it's actually been the last 3 or 4 years where I sat back and I did, as a kid, I don't know, this sounds silly. As a kid, when you're in school and you have a boyfriend, like, what's good about them, what's bad? I did the same thing for my family. Like, what do they actually offer me? When are they actually there? And all of these things. And then I put it to the test. I text my brothers and sisters and family all the time. And then I stopped and I wasn't getting no messages. So then I realized that I can still have my family and let them be there when they're usually there. And that's only whenever I get put in hospital because of my illness. then they'll maybe turn up. Let them just be there for that, and maybe not focus so much on what they're not giving me, because that was destroying me more. And then whenever you think about them things, it messes with you mentally. And then that also suppresses your appetite. And someone with an eating disorder really does not need that. So it's been really hard, really lonely. But realistically, it's no different than before. I just before was suffering more pain, believing and having hope that things would change, or they might want to hear me, or they might want to understand. And now I'm learning that sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes even the right thing for people to do, they don't do
Yeah.
it. So therefore you just have to figure out, well, if I can't get that, how do I fix me or be better me? And to be better me is to try and love
Yeah.
me and just surround myself with me. Because if I love me, then everybody else should start to see who I am and love her
Yeah,
too.
I
And
think you
that's
need
sort of
to
what I've been working
try
on.
and live. I think you need to try and as hard as it sounds, you know, just try and live your life and try not to expect anything from anyone. And one thing I was going to say is as well, like a lot of the times with parents, when something like this happens, when it's big, and they trust me, no one's stupid. They know you if that's happened to you, no one's stupid. Like, you know, and back repeatedly over a 6 year cycle, the pain of them having to even think about it and comprehend it in their head is what keeps your memories and your feelings in a black box, and they won't let it out, because that's something that would kill most people. Like, you know, the thought of they've allowed something like that to happen to their children for that long a time. Like, you know, so it's probably a little bit of selfishness on their side. That's probably, you know, like just to even think about it and to even comprehend it, and your dad saying what he said to you, which is a fast, snappy response that he probably hasn't really thought about, because he doesn't want to go anywhere
Yeah,
near the idea of his dad. Is it his dad? Yeah.
it is his dad. And I guess a little bit of background on that is my dad didn't have a great upbringing with his mum and dad. And his mum basically made his grandmother, my Nana Selfridge, to look after him. So really him and his dad were so close. And his dad was really his only
Wow.
hero, you know. So I think, to me, I believe it was like I took his hero from him, or I took the only connection of a
He,
parent, or, and I think that's why my dad reacts the way he does. It doesn't mean that it's right, but I believe that his reaction is more out of the person that he looked up to out of his whole life was the one person that actually
yeah.
betrayed him.
But he needs to focus that anger that he has on the person that is actually the wrong, and it's not you. You telling the truth is not wrong.
Yeah.
You are telling your story to him, and as your father, he's supposed to protect you. I don't care about his thoughts and he's there for you. So let him deal with what he's got to deal with. Just focus on you, and remember that you haven't taken away his hero. His hero took away his
Yeah.
hero. He did that,
You know
not
what?
you.
That's very
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So what does the next 5 years
Yeah.
look like for you? How are you gonna empower yourself, pick yourself up by the
Right.
bootstraps, stay out of hospital, eat some food, and all the rest of it? How are you gonna do that? And that's probably one of your triggers. That's probably something you shouldn't say to someone with.
No, you know what? It's actually not. Like I say, so last 3 or 4 years has been good. I've been studying a lot on everything. I've actually written 3 different programs that I would like to get out this
Okay.
year within the
Okay.
community, and would like to eventually travel to UK and then go worldwide. Um, and I'm actually doing my second one tomorrow night, and it's
Okay.
called KFA. And the reason I went for KFA is like KFC, it's like food, but it's kids food awareness. So I basically talk about to kids about, do they love McDonald's, who likes KFC, who likes this, that. And then we'll actually make our own McDonald's, KFC, or whatever drive-through that they can bring home and create McDonald's or whatever at home. My reason for that is to let kids know McDonald's and stuff's a treat, but you can still create that same fun atmosphere at home, but it's healthier when you're cooking at home. But it also bonds families together. Like, can you imagine like little kids baking pizzas and then mum and dad serving? And it just brings that family dynamic back together. And again, that brings mental health and families. Like, I just want families to be together and support each other and understand a lot. And that's what my program is for the kids. I do knowledge and awareness, and it's more for adults and teens and things like that. And that's just to let them know of all the different type of eating disorders that are out there. Even some that if you Google, they can't give you all the information. But I know because I have friends with the disorder. I give them signs and tips and tools to look out for. You know, if you might know someone or you see these signs, how you can approach it, how not to approach it, different things to do if they are struggling. I do one-to-one coaching as well. And then my third program is for people with the disorder. And it is a 6-week intense program. And we actually use food to the point where it'll actually make us get a little bit upset. It has some for myself, but that's what it's about. You need to be putting yourself at the most vulnerable state so we can see where you are to show you, right, well, we can do this. Okay, you cannot physically help someone by them just telling you. They'll never tell you their worst state of mind. No one will. We're all guilty of this. I don't know why. We're a little bit ashamed, I think. But then how do we get the right help?
Yeah.
So that's why it's focused solely just for eating disorders, because someone without it won't
Yeah.
benefit
What
from
about
it.
what I think,
Um,
because obviously I feel like, the biggest challenge people with eating disorders will have is, their family members or their partners or whatever it is. Like, because like, you could have this, you got your lovely partner with you, and like it's not cancer, it's not it's this person is not eating food and it's making them ill, and the frustration from their side is just come on, just eat, like, just eat, like, so what would you say to the people
yeah.
to try and help people with these disorders that you can do something simple?
So my advice is say an everyday basis, if it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it may be, I wouldn't per se ever ask. I would just be like, here, I'm making it. Tell them what you're making. Tell them how long it'll be. Like, I'm gonna make this about 5. Are you hungry or we'll wait for a bit longer? Give them a choice when they're allowed to eat. Don't tell them they have to 5 o'clock dinner time be at the table. What if they're not hungry? Or what if something stressed them out and then it makes them feel sick? And then dinner's at 5 and then you've finished dinner. We're too embarrassed to come back down and say, well, can I have dinner now? Because everybody's finished. Always just be mindful that they should have a choice, as in, if they have a dinner plate and they don't eat it all, just say, is that you fully done? Or would you like me to stick that in the oven for later and give it a go?
Mm.
A lot of people are quick to take food away and say, oh, well, that's them done. Or did you not like that? Or is that all you're eating? Like, seriously? That straight away, they won't eat with you no more. And the chances of them actually spending time with you will get less and less and less and less, because then they'll see that you're picking on their eating disorder. Where if they see that you notice their disorder and are giving them choices, likes of, you don't have to eat it all now, you can eat it later.
Yeah.
That allows them to go, do you know what? So can. Actually, so can. Um, People with eating disorders, you will find, are going to be fixated, fascinated with food. They will talk to you about food. They'll tell you what food they love. They love to cook. They love doing all that, but they don't like eating. The reason for that being is that they need to know how it's cooked. They need to see what's in it. They need to know what smells
Would
is
you
going to hit them
let's
for
talk
the
about
table.
you and your eating disorder, if you don't mind, because that's something I'm quite interested in.
Yeah.
Like, what would stop you from eating and make you have to go to hospital? What would stop you from eating?
So as of late, like what I was talking about with my family, I've been doing that intervention thing with them. And because they won't help, it's stressed me out quite a lot. I haven't been eating very well the last 2 weeks. I think in the last 2 weeks, I probably had about 4 meals. I haven't eaten yet today, but I will try.
What's
Um,
stopping you?
so the stress of a lot of things. I'm cooking the dinner. I just can't physically seem to sit down to eat it. It's like it won't go down. But mine is really different to a lot of other people that are starting off. And again, this is what makes it all really confusing because of the lack of help there is, and because mine has been left so long. We have a thing called the fungus nerve, and that's from your stomach to your brain. And because I haven't had the help, that wee thing is now stopped working. So mine falls more medical and eating disorder, if that makes sense. So
Mm.
I've never, like the last time I was hungry, I think I remember, like, the last time I remember really wanting something to eat was when I arrived in America for the very
Oh,
first time, and
I
I was
was
like,
gonna say, I've been hearing the American
Lose a fight.
accent coming out once or twice, actually.
Yeah.
so a lot of people say that. That's actually, do you want to know why you hear that? I was only in America for 6 weeks and never been any longer. It was only a holiday. It's because I'm deaf. I
Uh,
pronunciate my words. So I get asked, am I American, Australian, Canadian, like crazy. But when I went to America the first day and I arrived in O'Hare and I was on the plane, and I don't eat plain food because I'm fussy. I don't eat. And I was like, I'm so hungry, I could eat a pizza. Well, did they bring me to this place? And this pizza was, it would have lasted me the whole 6 weeks. But that's the last time I was hungry. And I guess that's maybe about 20 years ago. So I struggle a lot. I can't, like, so when you go to the shops, it's easy just to go, I'm going to the shop. Well, I have to think, is there a chip shop on the way? Is a Chinese open? Is the smell going to set me off? Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times to go back to the house and go again because I start vomiting because of the smell, and there's just many of things that could trigger you off, and it all depends on the trauma or the disorder or the illness
Yeah.
that you have
It
and how you
it
got
sounds
it, if that makes
it
sense.
sounds really complex, and I mean I mean, look, I mean, the reason why I wanted to speak about you is because, like, you're someone with the knowledge, you're quite aware of everything, and you still struggle with it yourself, like, so that means that it's really deep than this. But what I was going to say as well, you said it in the messages, you said that you were deaf, and I was automatically really worried about this, like, can you explain that, because you seem to be hearing and following everything we're saying, okay?
Yeah, so I was born deaf. I was born, my mum and my mum's dad were both deaf. So I was born with perforated eardrums. And we don't really know how I can speak because people that are deaf speak different. They would speak more like it's hard because they don't hear. But I was speaking normal. And I was hearing, and we don't know how I did it, but there was one day in nursery, there was a song, and it's called, I can't sing, right? Bang, I do it. Hell, I don't care. It's called Clap the Hands to the Rhythm Music. So, look, clap the hands to the rhythm of the music, music. Well, I was going, it's not music, it's music, it's music, because that's what I was saying. And then I was getting really angry, and then I started using other words, and I was saying a different word. And it wasn't my parents, it was my nursery teacher. So it was Miss Macaulay. I'll never forget her name because of that reason, because I actually hated her for it. I'll actually got one sitting here, I'll show you in a second. I had to wear these, and I wear
bless
one
you.
in, so I can't hear. I hear vibrations with it in. So if
So
so,
how are you
like,
hearing me now? I don't get how you're hearing me now.
because I'm both ears. I have one. I only have one in.
Okay.
So I have one in one ear and one
Okay,
out
okay, okay.
because I'm so used to lip reading, to put them in hurts me a lot, and the world's too loud. I don't really want to hear the world. It's very loud. And so I got an ear operation then whenever I was primary 5 or 6, and they did a skin graft, and they took a little bit of skin from my forehead, to fix this ear. And then to do this ear, I got done a year and a half later, and they took it from my bum. And they took it. So I have skin graft in both my ears, and then I could hear, and that was amazing. Like, I'd never heard a bird sing. I'd never heard, like, I remember being in the car, it was raining, and saying to my mom and dad, like, it was actually my dad, because my mom wasn't in the car. I was like, what's that noise? He's like, what noise, love? I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, Dad, I don't know, but it's like going, he's like, that's the window wipers. Have you never even heard those? And I was like, I'd never heard nothing. I never heard mum speak anything.
Wow. What
And
was
then
that? What was that
the
like
one
the first time you heard your mum's voice?
I cried.
Wow.
I cried. I loved hearing mum's voice. Because I'm more a very cuddly person, and because I was always using vibrations or tones to feel things. So to physically hear it was amazing. But after when I was about 31, 32, it all went again, and I don't hear no more. And I had my daughter, a baby, and I only got to hear her voice for the first time last year when I got new hearing aids. So I cried hearing her again. But if I wear them, I can hear vibrations and tones. But I am like a superhero. My superpower is I lip read like no one else. And you can't talk about me in a room without
Wow.
knowing they're the best. Just going somewhere else or turning your
Can I
back.
can I can I can I
So I
can I
mean,
put it to the test?
100%.
Okay.
You are sorry. You are what? I'm not
Okay,
getting it all in here.
I'll stop because it's not very the best
Sorry.
camera anyway.
You know what it is? I have a ring light on as
Okay.
well, and maybe it's like, oh, and I have my hearing aid in as
Okay.
well. Sorry, my partner just said, "Are you your hearing aid in?"
No,
So,
it's fine. It's fine.
yeah, I
It's
would
fine.
lip
You
read
got the UR
everything.
anyway, but that's fine. All right.
It's the mic doesn't help either.
Yes, I can
Like,
imagine.
it's
Yes, I can
shadows.
imagine that as well. Yes, indeed. Bad test. We'll do another one another day. Danielle, it's been great having you. Great speaking with you. And this is first. Don't be a stranger. This is our first of many chats. We always welcome people to come back on and take part in different shows, like you saw today. We do a show Monday to Friday, so you'll always be welcome on. Kitty, anything you want to say before we go?
No, I mean, I've said everything. I think you're amazing. I think you're amazing. But I do think that you need to literally change your mind frame, please, to you're going to survive. You are surviving. You are amazing, wonderful, and you are not to blame.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
and
so much. I really do appreciate that.
I'll say as well, just like, I think everyone that's got a brain has got a brain. Like, I think everyone understands it. I feel like your parents, at some stage, you'll get that hug and you'll get that apology. At some stage, you will, and it will probably be the last thing they probably ever say to you, because it's the pain of actually having to actually deal with that is too much, so they'll prefer just to sort of, unfortunately, what ends up, rather than them saying, look, I'm sorry, I really can't talk about it, I really don't want to talk about it, I'm sorry, I feel like we let you down, whatever, rather than just doing that, it normally comes out in the negative way, like negative things and stuff, but I feel deep down inside they will be in immense pain for what you've been through from a child, and the only way they can comprehend and live their normal day-to-day life is to try and forget it and try blank it out. You will get it eventually. The best thing to do, I would think, is just assume that they've already given it to you. Maybe even do that. Maybe do a bit of manifesting in your mindset of where they've come to you, and they've think about what you would want them to say to you, the perfect words to heal you, and maybe manifest them saying it to you, and maybe one day they'll say it to you,
Hear it in your own head.
So you've got it. You can trick your brain. You can trick your brain into believing that you've already got the answer and the apology that you've got.
Hear them saying, "We are so sorry, Danielle. We should have protected you. You should have been able to be a child. You should have been safe. And we failed, but we love you, and you are amazing, and we are proud of you." Hear
Yeah.
your parents saying that to you every day. Wake up and hear those words in your head, because you are amazing. You are still here. You are literally doing something that nobody else can do. You're advocating for people that have been or in your situation, and you are ready to fight for them. So now be ready to fight for you.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's a good
Anything you want to
point.
say?
That's a
Anything
good
you want to
point.
say
Thank
before we
you.
go, Danielle?
No, guys, I just really want to thank you for giving me this time and just for actually validating me for me.
You,
And you have
you
helped
don't
me
need it. You
realize, you
don't
know
need
what,
it.
like, but I appreciate
Yes.
it, and it has made me feel good, and I'm glad that you've given me the opportunity to get on, just talk. And I mean, if there's anybody that is within your platforms that do suffer, worry about people with disorders, they can bounce on my page, private mail me. I'm always open to speak to anybody that I can
Yep.
help. And
All
again,
right. Just
I just
before we go,
thank
then,
you
just
for
before we go,
everything.
just speak down the camera and say your final message to anyone out there that's struggling with eating disorders or thinks they may have an eating disorder. What would you say to them?
Guys, if you think that you know anybody or if it's yourself that is struggling with an eating disorder, please do not hide, and please do not feel ashamed or embarrassed by it, because it's like every other illness, it is an illness and a disorder. And until you actually address it, it's only going to get worse. If you want to find out a bit more knowledge or information, tools, tips, or anything that you can use yourself, bounce onto my TikTok. My name's Danielle McCrae, and I will you go through, there's loads of videos that tells you different tools, tips to use depending on the disorder. But also, don't be scared to hit that wee message button. Send me a message. I do not care what time of the day it is. When I see it, I promise you, you'll get a reply. And you're really not alone. But until we start speaking up, we're not going to get any changes. So please speak up with me and let's make changes,
That
guys.
was Danielle McC, guys. Make sure you'll go check her out. I will tag her in all the videos that we put out, and the full video will be on my YouTube channel, BruddC Entertainment, and the clips will be coming out thick and fast.